Officer Nyampule has told the High Court in Johannesburg that it is highly impossible that there was no patrol for almost 3 hours the night it's alleged Dr. Niel Aggett committed suicide.
Nyampule is giving evidence at the second inquest into the death of anti-apartheid activists. Nyampule described to the court how police officers patrolled the second floor, checking on detainees hourly, ensuring they were alive. He expressed surprise at the evidence in the first inquiry, which claimed that no patrol took place between 10:30 p.m. and 1 a.m. the night of the 4th of February. This is the night it's alleged that Aggett hung himself in his cell. Well, for more on this story, we cross to our reporter, Hasina Gori, who's been covering this particular court case. Thanks very much for joining us, Hasina. So, obviously, Mr. Nyampule has been giving us evidence. Can you elaborate further?
Yes, as you mentioned, he is still on the stand leading evidence on his role as a junior officer in John Vorster. He explained his duties. We heard that on Friday. Today he went on to explain the technicalities of how exactly detainees were taken from the second floor, cells which they were kept at, to the 10th floor where they were interrogated and where the interrogations were taking place. It was quite a long process that will take almost 20 to 30 minutes because detainees were handcuffed as well as had foot cuffs on their ankles, and they were made to walk through the basement and then taken up into the cells through a different security entrance and then brought into the interrogation rooms. They explained how that every time a detainee was taken out of their cell, there was a book that showed. Also, there were complaints of what exactly the detainee was feeling that day, whether they were complaining of certain kind of ailments or injuries. And these were some of the duties that he performed. He also went through how detainees were allowed to shower, the kind of items that they were allowed to have in their cells. Most of the time it was just their mattresses that they slept on and the clothes that they were wearing. Other stuff were kept outside and they were given to them according to the security branch officers that were there. And then he went on to explain that it was highly impossible, and he was very surprised that on the night of the 4th of February and of the morning of the 5th of February that patrolling did not take place for almost 3 hours. In the first inquiry, the evidence that were given by the police officers there was that they were overworked, and that's why they did not manage to patrol for that 3 hours. And he says that they only had one job, and that there were two branches of police that patrolled, and it was the normal police officers that patrolled hourly, and then the security branch that went through every 15 minutes to ensure that the detainees were alive. He also explained that there was a district surgeon as well as a magistrate that was in the John Vorster prison, and that some detainees were denied access, and especially if they had gone through interrogation and they had visible signs of injuries and bruising, they were not allowed to be seen by the magistrate or the police officers.
So, Hasina, what can we expect in the afternoon? A continuation of Mr. Nyampule's testimony, or are there other people who are expected to give testimony?
We know that Mr. Nyampule is expected to continue with his testimony in the afternoon. He's expected to explain his interactions and his kind of experiences that he had with Dr. Niel Aggett during his detention in John Vorster. We also know that another security branch police officer is expected to also give evidence either today or tomorrow.
Thanks very much, Hasina, for that feedback. My colleague there, Hasina Gori. Over to you, Nzinga. Oh, so we continue the